So at 33 hours of fasting, you may feel your body shift during the fast. Like something suddenly clicked. There's suddenly some calm. Maybe your thought process is clearer. This is not a problem. This is not your fast getting harder. This is actually your biology changing gears. At around 33 hours, motivation hands the wheel off to metabolism, and your structure begins doing the work that motivation started. And what we're going to be talking about is what is going on in this transition. What's happening as we move from motivation, which is what got us here, to the metabolism that continues to feed and continues to help us as we move through our fasting, as we get our bodies healthy, and as we take charge of our health. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. If you're new to me, welcome to our channel. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. And I am here because I want to help you to have the success that you are having in your other areas of your life right here in your health. You don't need a superhuman ability. What you need is a system you can trust, a plan you can follow, and you need support and determination to keep showing up. And so here we are. We're taking charge of our health and our lives. We avoid complications, going to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted. If you've got some questions, go ahead and put those in the comments because I'd love to welcome you and say, hey, let's answer those questions for you. If you're new, go ahead and put new in the comments and we'll give you a hand clap and some music. And we've got some good things that we're going to be taking a look at here in just a little bit. We've got my monitors off to the side. Well, let's take a look at that. So I've got my Clarity Dexcom, got my Dexcom Clarity report right down below me. I've got my Keto Mojo, and I have my Contour, which we'll take a look at here in just a little while to see what's been going on with my blood sugars. Hey. If you are new to the channel, on our channel, there are two playlists that you will find. One says Start Here. So if you're coming in and you want to know, how do I get started? How do I start doing the things that they're doing? What are the pillars of what we're talking about? And how do we move down that path to become healthy? Start Here on the channel, right? That playlist. Go ahead and walk your way through that. If you're interested in knowing what we're doing this week, what are the conversations we're having this week? What are the shows that are going on this week? What did he eat before he started his fast? And what's he going to eat at the end of the fast? There is a playlist there that's called This Week's Videos. Make sure you get over there and make sure you watch that. And everything that we're doing is with the intention that we're improving our health and improving our bodies, right? So we want to be around for a long time because we want to show up for those things in our lives that are so important. And a part of that is our MOVE campaign, metabolic optimization via exercise. Let's go ahead and let's look at that promo right now. Welcome to MOVE, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started. I'm so excited about that campaign because it is so fundamental to all the things that we do. We want to make sure that we are setting ourselves up for the best possibility of success and moving, right, which are the MOVE campaign, which contains two of the pillars of our health action plan, walking and strength training. You want to make sure you hop in and get to do that. So at 33 hours into our fast this week, let's go ahead and let's talk about what's going on in my body. So this is where we talk about we do a check-in, right? So I do a check-in in the middle of the check-ins, right? So we're doing a check-in right now, and we're talking about what's happening in the body. But I want to specifically talk about three different areas, and these are the areas where people tend to have the most challenge. And so we're going to go ahead and walk through that right now. What's going on with me physically, mentally, and emotionally? Physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so when we talk about physical, what we're talking about is what is happening in the body as the body's transitioning through the different phases of the fast. What are the physical things that we're feeling? And the big things that people usually talk about is feeling fatigue, feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, feeling as though they're hitting a wall as they get through the day. Okay. Right now, I'm not feeling any of that. We are well into this week's fast. As a matter of fact, we're into the second day of this week's fast, and just feeling energized. Not feeling as though I'm walking through mud, right? Which is another thing that people will say. So right now, feeling energetic. That's partially because I've been doing a good job of resting the last several days. As you guys know, we've had some things going on here personally for me, and so I've been spending a lot of time getting rest. Okay, and as a result of that, it's showing up with a better with better feelings and a better physiologic position as I go through the fast. And then we talk about what's going on mentally. Okay, so as we move through the fast, what happens to us physically will show up in our thought process. And so right now, I'm not feeling foggy-headed. I'm not feeling as though I'm walking through a bubble. I'm not feeling as though I can't get my words, right? So those are all kinds of things people will talk about. And that, in a large part, has to do also with what's going on when we are, in terms of our rest. So if we're not doing a good job of resting, then that shows up sometimes also in that foggy-headedness. And then emotionally, we're the emotions, right, as you go through different experiences in life, will have different responses in your body, right? So your thought processes will fluctuate, and emotions go with them. Now, because I'm doing a good job of resting, right? Because my thought process is in line, right? So I'm not feeling as though I'm exhausted. So emotionally, I'm actually doing pretty good. I was sending a message to some friends last week and telling them that I'm good. I'm feeling good. I'm right. So emotionally, I'm where I need to be, and that all part of it actually comes from fasting. So remember, fasting helps to lower cortisol. When the cortisol goes down, we don't feel anxious. We don't feel sweaty, lightheaded. We don't have those racing thoughts. And so not just is fasting good for physiology in terms of our body and the healing that we're looking for, but it also has a profound effect on our emotions and on our thoughts. Okay? All right, so now let's go ahead and let's take a look at what's going on with my monitors. And so we're going to start off by looking at my Freestyle Libre, and that you'll see that right here. This is my Freestyle Libre. My blood sugar right now is a 75, and I can, let's get back here. I can put my finger across the bottom there, and you'll see that as I do that, let's do that again. There we go. And you'll see this is what my blood sugar has been ranging in that line as I go across that graph over the course of the last 12 hours. And so for the latter part of the day, we were in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then popped up right here to where we are at at 75. If I look at the reports, I can look at what's going on, time in range. So this is my time in range, and we're looking at these numbers right in here. Will pop up here. So 96% of the time I'm in range, and then 4% of the time I'm below 70 is what that is. That the red part. And this is for the last 7 days. Now, if I go to 14 days, 30 days, and then of course 90 days, this is what's been going on with me over the course of the last 3 months. And so 86% of the time I'm in range, and then 13% I'm below 70, and then that's considered hypoglycemia, and then 1% of the time I'm in the really, really low. Okay, and you guys have seen that on some occasions where blood sugars have dropped down below 54. Those lows that you're seeing, the red part, tends to happen when I'm fasting. And as you see, if I go back to this graph here, this one, you'll see that as part of the day, right in here, we dip below 70 and spent a lot of time below 70, 70, 68, 69, 67, 69, and then came back up into the 70s right here. Okay? So that happens when I'm fasting. And then now looking at my average blood sugar over the course of the last 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and then, of course, 90 days, you'll see this number right here in that line. And then I love this part of the graph because it breaks my blood sugars down according to different times of the day. And that allows me to be able to pinpoint different things that I want to do and how I want to address some of those as I go through the day. For the most part, you'll see there for 90 days, my blood sugars have ranged anywhere from 86 to 96. So within that 10 milligrams per deciliter change, and pretty consistent throughout most of the day. Okay? All right. Now, if we get out of this one, and I want to go over and see what my this is my Dexcom, and this is a G7. What we saw there for the Libre was a Libre 3 Plus. This is my Dexcom G7, and you'll see right here it says that my blood sugar is 82. And then if we do the same thing as we did earlier with the Libre, we can actually go and look at what's been going on for the last 12 hours and put my finger through there, and you'll see 90s, 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 80s, and it looks like these are roughly about 10 points higher than what we saw with the Libre. And so, in fact, right now, my Libre says my blood sugar was 75. This says it's 82. Okay, so within 10 points of each other. And then looking at this graph, or this chart and this report, for the last 14 days, my average has been 106. 5.9 has been my glucose management indicator. If I go to the 90-day, because this is the one that corresponds most closely to our A1C, which is a 90-day average of what my blood sugars are, you'll see there that my average is 114. My glucose management indicator is a 6.0. So if I were to get an A1C, I would expect it to approximate that, and then I'm in target 98% of the time. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look now at these guys. So here is my Contour and my Keto Mojo. And let's go ahead and grab my container. So I've got a strip for my Contour. Get that in there. And then I'll need 2 strips. One, the blue one for ketones for the Keto Mojo, and then the brown one for blood sugar. And then I'll also need a couple of lancets. And I'm getting a couple. I just need one really, but I'm going to get 2 just in case. All right, and put these off to the side, and go ahead and open up the strip for blood sugar for the Keto Mojo. Let's get that open and get that strip in. There we are. And I'm just going to go ahead and open this and just have it off to the side so we can get that in as soon as possible. And then just grab a lancet. And once again, I don't use a lancing device. I just take a lancet. We're going to open it. I'm going to, actually that one looks, I don't think I like how that one looks. I'm going to put this one in the trash and grab another one. All right, there we go. Okay, and just got a finger, and we've been picking on this finger, so we're going to go ahead and do that again. And just get a finger stick right there, and ow, 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 ow. Yeah, that does hurt. Hopefully that gives us a good, yep, there we go, a good brisk drop. Get that started. Milk that a little bit more so we can get a drop for the Contour. And while that's doing, I'm going to get this back on the screen. And so you see here that it says that according to the Contour, I'm 87. According to Keto Mojo, I'm 83. And then, of course, according to the Dexcom, I'm 86. If I go back over here, we'll see that this Libre says I'm 74. So the Libre is the odd man out right now. Go ahead and get this strip out. Get the ketone strip. Oh, where did that go? Here it is. Get the ketone strip in. And what do you think my ketones are going to be, by the way? So we are 33 hours in. You saw we fluctuated a little bit there from 60s into the 70s. Go ahead and get that started. Okay, so go ahead and you can start dropping that into the chat in the comments area. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So 0.2 is what that what the ketones are right there. So 0.2. Remember, lower than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis. And then above 1.5 considered therapeutic ketosis. So there we are. Blood sugars of 74, 80s to 74 right now. And my ketones are 0.2. So it'd be interesting to see what those are coming on our check-in tomorrow, and then of course as we do our complete check-in on Friday. Okay, so make sure you join us for those. All right, well, let's go ahead and let's say hello to our community members. I see some of you out there, so let me up over here. And we'll go ahead, and I see Gian is there, and Gian is saying, hey, Doctor and LLG. What is going on, Gian? Thank you for coming through with us. And Jennifer, hey, Jennifer, what's going on? Jennifer says, hello, howdy all. And then Steve, hello, my friends. Hey, Steve, what's going on, man? We missed you. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Steve. Gian was guessing 0.6, and as you saw, it was actually 0.2. Is it 0.2? Yeah, 0.2. Jennifer saying hi. How was your extended fast? So Gian is asking Jennifer. Felt great. Did it feel great? It went great. Just over 4 full days. Congratulations, Jennifer. A hand clap for you right there. Hand clap. And then it's just I'm starting a 2-day fast starting today. Oh, Jennifer, good for you. And let me make a point right here. So this is a good place for me to say. So those of you who ended your fast, who are started your fast today with us, let me give you a hand clap and some music. Because it is an amazing thing to take charge of your health and to do something for your health, and fasting is a great way of doing that. Okay, so Jennifer says she's starting 2 days. Gian says, great day. I am 48 hours in. And Gian, remind me, this is your 10th week, is that correct? Just drop a yes in the comments there if that's the case. I think that's what I said earlier. I gave you a shout out with some of our other community members. Steve says, I've been locked up in the hospital. So Steve, we're glad that you are doing better, my friend. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Hopefully you are doing well as you are healing. I'm hoping that you are healing currently. So one thing I failed to do earlier was really to welcome everyone. I mean, we talked about what we're doing for the show, welcoming everyone from wherever you are, whatever platform you're joining us from, and whatever city, town, village, country you're joining us from. I know we have someone from South Korea. We've got some New Zealand folks, some folks that join us from London, and of course around the United States here, Nebraska, Tennessee, Texas, Ohio, Georgia. We've got DC, Florida, Pennsylvania, and if I missed someplace, don't count it to my heart, but just to my head. But yeah, just drop in the comments where you are, and then next to it, put where you are in terms of fasting. So if you're fasting 24 hours, if you're done, if you ended your fast today when we did our check-in, just put where you're from, and then just put done after it. If you're currently still fasting, where you're from, and then what hour of fast are you in right now? Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and let's get over to our discussion for tonight. Let's do that right now. So we're talking about the transition point. We're 33 hours into the fast, and so in this episode, we're going to explore what's happening inside your body at 33 hours, how to read the signals, and our special focus tonight is an interesting one, and it is why we may feel cold at 33 hours and why that is actually a good sign. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening under the hood as we move into our fast at 33 hours. This is the point where your metabolism is handing off or taking over. I shouldn't say handing off. Your metabolism is taking over from the motivation. That's where things are just beginning to transition. We are heading into longer fasts for those of you who typically do that fast with us, and we do a 72-hour fast. We're heading into longer fast, and the body is now moving from its normal source of energy and is moving into doing something different, using a different type of energy. And so that's the transition point that we want to talk about, and that's what's going on here at 33 hours. But there's a metabolic handoff, right, where we go from stored sugar to kind of a steady fuel. At 33 hours, as you know, glycogen is almost gone because the body's used up whatever is in the liver. Insulin has gone down because the storage that's there is going down. So as the blood sugars drop, there's no need for more insulin. So insulin begins going down. And because insulin is going down, the counter hormone to insulin, which is glucagon, is going up. And so this is kind of an interplay between the hormones in your body. As one changes, one goes down, the other comes up, based on the changes that are happening in terms of our energy source. And then, of course, growth hormone increases, and this is protecting our muscle. And then, then the magic happens. Your fat cells release fatty acids, beta oxidation. Your liver converts those to ketones, and your brain starts running on a cleaner fuel. When ketones rise, blood sugar smooth, hunger calms, energy steadies, focus happens, and becomes sharper. So this is not luck. This is design. This is metabolic flexibility. This is what we want. We want our bodies to begin learning how to switch between those energy sources at will. So just when we get into the fast, we want to say, hey, we're doing something different. We are now running on a different source of energy. So fasting isn't deprivation. It is the language of flexibility. And so tonight we want to talk about something important that happens. And this is a question that I get sometimes, is why we may feel cold during the time when we're fasting, and particularly here at the 33 hours as we're making that transition. Okay, so we're going to add a special focus because so many of you have asked me this, and so at 33 hours your body often feels colder, and here's why. Right, number one, your thermostat is recalibrating. When insulin goes down and glucagon rises, your body shifts from glucose burning, right, which is fast heat, and it goes to fat burning, which is steady heat. So when we eat food, those carbs that come in, those carbs are like speed, right? They come into the body and they give us a burst of energy. And you can kind of anticipate this, right? So let's step away from the heat for a minute and just think about when you feel down, when you feel a bit lethargic, when you feel like as though you don't have energy, you go and you get something sweet to eat, and you eat it, and guess what? You get a burst of energy. The problem is that burst of energy doesn't last long because pretty soon it begins to wane. And so that's just an indication of the swiftness with which glucose produces an effect, So when we're eating, we get that fast burning, we get that heat that comes, we get the energy that comes, but then as the body is transitioning to burning a more steady source, then the intensity of that flame kind of goes down. And that transition temporarily reduces the heat production that's going on in the body because we're going from one source to the other source. That's number one. Number two, your body directs more blood flow inward. So there's a redistribution of blood. And that blood is now going towards the organs and metabolic cleanup. Because remember, as we talked about, and you may remember, autophagy is going on, and there are lots of changes, hormonal changes in the body, lots of physiologic, neurologic changes are going on. And so the body is shunting blood away from the skin, from the surface, and it's turning it inward for all the cleanup and all the new processes and all the processes that are coming online. And those, because it's going away from the skin and is going inward, then we feel that as though we're cooler. Your hands, your feet may feel cooler. Your mitochondria, right? Those are those battery cells in your body, the fuel cells. They are switching fuels. So the power plants of the cells are unplugging from glucose. So they're plugging out from glucose and they're getting ready to plug into the fat. They're plugging into that fat oxidation. And during the switch, the heat production can dip. So this chill is not danger, it's actually progress. It means that the transition is happening. So when you feel cold as you're getting into the fast, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong. It means that the transition is going on and it is going on smoothly. But sometimes people will feel that it's like, okay, something is wrong, and they end the fast before the body fully gets to where it needs to go. So feeling cold isn't the problem. It's actually a sign of metabolic recalibration. And then there are lots of hormonal changes that are going on, right? So this is the hormonal harmony, right? The symphony that's going on. This transition is more than a fuel shift. It's a hormonal handshake. And we talked a little bit about the fact that as your body is using up glycogen, insulin begins stepping back. Because remember, insulin is the manager. It is the thing that's directing the energy to go where it needs to go. So when we eat, insulin says, okay, either I'm going to store this or I'm going to send it out so that my heart can use it, my lungs can use it, and so forth. And if there's enough energy in the body, then the insulin, which is there, will send it to storage. But as we are fasting for longer periods, then the amount of energy that's coming in is going down. And as that energy goes down, there's no more need for that much insulin. And so insulin begins stepping back. Because insulin is a counter hormone to glucagon, glucagon goes up. And it steadies the release of glucose. Remember, we're talking about the handshake, the symphony, this harmony between hormones. Growth hormone is there to protect muscles. Because a lot of people say, hey, when I fast, I'm afraid I'm going to lose muscles. Well, when we fast, growth hormone actually goes up, and growth hormone is an amazing protector for muscles. So we get better recovery, better healing. We get better muscle bulk, muscle maintenance, because growth hormone is going up. Cortisol, which initially went up because fasting is considered actually sometimes at the initial stages to be a stress on the body. But once the body realizes, hey, we're just doing what we normally do, it begins to calm. And when it calms, cortisol levels drop. And then the mitochondria, as we talked about, switches fuel sources to go from the glucose that's there, which is a quick energy source, to a more stable energy source. And during this process, we get less waste, we get less inflammation, more clean, steady energy. So this process of switching through, and this transition period, right, that we're going through, is a process where all the hormones begin to stabilize and begin to do the things that we want. So this hormonal harmony. When your hormones trust your structure, your metabolism begins to heal. So let's talk a little bit about what's normal at 33 hours, right? So how do we read those signals? At 33 hours, as we just said, you may feel a bit chilly. And when you feel that, you now understand that that's because there is a transition that's going on in the body in terms of the energy source, in terms of the mitochondria switching energy sources as well, and of course in terms of the shunting of the blood from the skin into the inner organs to be able to support all the changes that are happening. You may feel a little lightheaded. You may feel a little focused. Well, I should say little. You should feel more focused. Feel calmer. All of these are signs. Clear-headed, more aware. You're making connections now between things that didn't quite make sense. I tell people, if you're working on a problem and you can't quite get it, start fasting. And then try to solve the problem while you're fasting. Because the beauty of what's going on in the brain as the ketones are being produced, right? Remember beta-hydroxybutyrate, brain-derived natriuretic factor. All of those enhance the brain function, and BDNF is kind of like miracle grow for the brain. So we're making connections that we would not normally have made connections with or to. And these are adaptation signs. As you're looking at them, as you're feeling them, you should be getting excited because you're saying, oh, wow. So, okay, now I understand. Okay, I feel cold because this is what's going on. I feel more focused because this is what's going on, right? All of those things are just indicators along the road that you're heading in the right direction. It's kind of like being in the car, right? You see those mile markers ticking off. I get excited when I see that when I'm traveling. First of all, I don't like to drive, but that's a whole nother conversation. But if I'm driving, when I'm on the road, I want to see those mile markers going by because that means I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to my destination. So understanding the signals in the body prevents overreacting to symptoms. Right? Notice those same things. You can think of them as symptoms, but they're actually signals to the body, in the body. The body's actually talking to you and saying, hey, this is what's happening at this particular time. You don't have to be afraid of it. I'm just letting you know that this is what's going on. And then let's talk about three markers of smooth transition: glucose, focus, and calm energy. So how do you know your fast is on track, other than the things that we just talked about? Number one, stable glucose, stable blood sugars, gentle waves, not spikes, not fluctuations all over the place. Now, let me make a point here. If you're coming into a fast, particularly if this is your first fast or your first few fasts, if you're coming into the fast and you are normally having high blood sugars, it takes some time for the body to process all that sugar so that the blood sugars actually come into the normal range. We just said at 33 hours, our glycogen is just now kind of going away. 24 to 36 hours is actually the period. So if you have high blood sugars and you start fasting, and it takes 24 to 36 hours for the glycogen to go away, first of all, we got to get rid of the sugar that's in the blood before we even get to the glycogen. But as you are going through the fast, even in that case, you should start to see, for instance, I have people who come and see me and their blood sugars are 200, 300, 400, 500 sometimes. And so they'll start fasting and, 12 hours later, the blood sugar went from 500 to 450. to 400. And the questions they have is, why is it not 70? Well, it can't be 70 because there's so much energy in the form of sugar that's in your body that the body has to use up before the blood sugar ever approaches 70. But as you're fasting, you will see that blood sugar begin going down, and it will stay whatever number it stabilizes at, which is lower than what it normally is. That's progress. For those of you who are not diabetic, and I encourage everyone to check their blood sugars, monitor your sugars. That's why I do mine on my monitors, because I can tell what's going on in my body based on those numbers. So stable blood sugars, right? So we're talking about markers, 3 signs that things are on the way to where we want them to be. So stable glucose. Number 2, mental clarity. Thoughts are flowing. Because what's going on? Our brain is being fed with ketones and BDNF. So if you're having good blood sugars, stable blood sugars, I shouldn't say good, stable blood sugars, not doing this, right? And the thoughts are flowing. There's some clarity there, not fog. We're heading in the right direction. And then third, a calm energy, a sense of steady power, not big dips and fluctuations in how we feel in terms of our energy. We're not hitting a wall. We're not feeling as though we're walking through mud or quicksand. So that energy level begins to stabilize. We have, and we begin to feel, man, I am actually doing well. I'm not super powered, but I'm not in the dumps, because our energy is steady. It's a cleaner source. Our cortisol also, which affects energy, is now stable because we're in the fast and the body understands that this is not danger. This is actually calm. If these markers are present, then your structure is working. If you're feeling this as you're getting through the fast, these are indications that the fast is working. Your metabolism is correcting. Your energy source is switching and providing the energy that you need. If you're finding yourself, as you're walking through and you're looking at some of these, say, wait a minute, I'm not quite feeling what he said I'm going to feel over here, or I'm feeling lightheaded over here, right? So look at a couple of things. Number 1, check to make sure that you're hydrated well and that you are taking in some electrolytes if you need to, and that you're getting good rest. Anytime any of those 3, so glucose levels, mental clarity, or just a calm energy feeling. Anytime those don't seem to be where they need to be, let's look to see, okay, what do we need to do? What is going on? And first, start with hydration, start with electrolytes, start with resting. Before you start adding stuff, before you start changing anything else, let's make sure that these are where they need to be. So predictability is the safety signal your metabolism craves. Your brain likes predictable. In fact, your hormones, your systems like predictable. It likes to know what's going to happen. And so how do we move from data to design? Right? Smooth glucose lines on your blood sugar monitor, steady energy. It's not random. Your body is turning rhythm into regulation. Every repeated pattern, your fasting window, your resting window, walking, rehydration, sitting down and bookending your days, getting up and doing your mantra, doing your devotion, doing your stretching, doing your meditation. Every time you have a repetitive pattern, it sends a signal of safety and predictability to your body. And that improves metabolism. Your body doesn't just respond, it remembers that. It's almost like, sometimes I get in my car and I don't even realize that I end up at work. Why? Because I've done it so often that my body, I've got muscle memory now. Now, of course, sometimes I want to go somewhere else, but I end up at work, or I'm heading to work before I realize. Why? Because my body's just so used to doing that. That same behavior, that same issue, that same thing is what we want as it relates to our health. Rhythm is how your body remembers safety. It says, hey, this is how we do. This is what we do. So let's talk a little bit about a calibration checklist. You ready? So your weekly calibration checklist. Number 1, fuel. So am I eating well? So as I'm in my fast, if I'm having trouble in the fast, then I begin looking and say, okay, when I am in my eating window, am I doing a good job in my eating window? So that now I come into the fast and I'm being supported in the fast, not by what I'm doing here, but actually stuff that started out there. So fueling. Hydration, which we just talked about. Are you getting enough fluids? Because sometimes when we are in the fast, because we're not taking in food, we also don't think about drinking. So fuel. Number 2, rest. Guard your sleep. Guard your sleep. Did I say guard your sleep? Guard your sleep. The rest that you get tonight sets the stage for tomorrow's blood sugar, sets the stage for tomorrow's energy, sets the stage for tomorrow's calm. So if I don't do a good job here, when I'm in the fast, I can have issues which are unrelated to fasting, but it has to do with what I did or did not do earlier on. So it's my checklist. Am I fueling well? Am I getting good rest? And then number 3, awareness. Noticing the signals, as we've been talking about, the signals that the body's giving to you. It will talk to you. It will let you know. Notice certain patterns that are happening. Man, every time I get into the fast, I'm 24 hours in, I'm 33 hours in, I'm this number of hours in, then I begin feeling X, Y, and Z. So now I begin predicting that. I begin to anticipate that. And if it's something that is not functioning the way I thought it should, now I can go and say, okay, I know this is going to happen in 24 hours. So what do I do at 22 hours to make it better at 24 hours? Awareness is structure in motion. Calibration keeps consistency alive. When we are looking, when we are aware, when we are paying attention, our body will let us know, hey, we need to adjust this, or it will let us know, hey, you're good, because we're on our way. We'll begin seeing those mile markers as we've been talking about. And so how do we transition, right? How do we transition? Well, let's do this. I want to talk about the inner design loop first, before we get there. Remember, the inner design loop is that structure that helps us become or install the things that we're learning into our body and into our days and our minds and our schedule in a way that allows it to continually evolve. And the first part of the inner design loop is, what is our anchor? Why am I fasting? Not just for the weight, not just for the blood sugar, but for stability, for clarity, for long-term health, so I can be around for the grandchildren, so I can be around for the vision, be around for the dreams that we've had, be around for your spouse. What is the reason? What is the why? The why that's beyond the number that everybody talks about. You want to reconnect with your why. That's your anchor. So, number one in the inner design loop is anchor. So, reconnecting with our why. Number two is alignment. Are my actions matching my intention? Are the choices I make in my hydration, in my rest, in my eating, in my non-fasting window, are they supporting what I say I want in terms of fasting? And are they taking me in the direction of my why, which is being around for a long time? Am I staying ahead of my signals instead of reacting to them? Am I seeing the things that are going on as signals rather than symptoms? Alignment is where the structure starts to work for you. It's where the things that you've put in place, where they are automating the process. So we anchor, we align, and then we adapt, right? So in the design loop, we adapt. What is my body teaching me? As I'm listening to those signals and I'm seeing things as I go through the fast at 5 hours after I finish eating, right? The postprandial period. As I go to 12 hours and 16 hours and 20 hours and 24 hours, what am I noticing in my body? For instance, if you're cold, now you understand why. If your energy dips, now you know how to look at it and begin adjusting. Your body is not fighting you. It's actually talking to you. And adaptation is your superpower. Not perfection. So adaptation is your superpower. You just want to be responsive to what's going on in your body. Your metabolism doesn't need perfection. It needs a pattern. It needs a purpose. It needs responsiveness from you. And the inner design loop allows you to make that happen. So here's the thought, right? And it is that structure turns discipline into design. Structure turns discipline into design. So we talked about the fact that people who are successful, and pick your whatever area, a lot of people are not more, they're not stronger than you. They're not faster than you. They're not smarter than you. So what makes them successful and you not successful? It is that they have a structure that they follow. And when we talk about structure, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna talk about this word discipline. People say, well, she is more disciplined than I am. Do you know what discipline is? Discipline simply is a structure that you follow. So if you don't have a structure, if you don't have a calendar, if you don't have a checklist, if you don't have a way of following the things and looking at what you want to do, then you are undisciplined because you're trying to remember the stuff. And our memory may be good, but it's not going to take us where we need to be. So on my screen right now, off to my side, I've got my organizational software. So when I get up in the morning, right, I got it on my phone. After I do my initial routine for the day, then I'm in there to see, okay, what am I doing today? As I go through the day, I'm looking through it to make sure I'm hitting the points I need to hit. At the end of the day, I look at it again. So discipline occurs when there's structure. And structure takes our discipline and it turns it into design. So now it's not just that it's on that piece of paper, but I've done it so much. That it now becomes who I am. Right? So in terms of our inner design loop, we anchor, we align, and we adapt. Yep. And so, what is our reflection? So here's my reflection. And this is what I want you to stop and I want you to think. Where did your energy find its groove today? Where did it find its groove today? What worked? Take 5 minutes and think. Reflect on that one question. And as you're thinking about that, how did your body respond to that? What signals did it give you? How did it let you know what was going on? Did you feel cooler than normal? Was there calm? Was there focus? Whatever that signal was, it wasn't random. It was information. And every time you pause and you reflect, you strengthen the rhythm in your body. You strengthen the signal. You understand the signal that your body is trying to tell you. And this is how we create metabolic consistency. One small, thoughtful reflection at a time. Because when we reflect, we begin to see those patterns. And reflection turns experience into structure. You see how it all kind of comes together? We got the discipline. The structure changes it into our design. And every time we reflect, we're taking that thing that happened, that experience that we went through, this fasting, that fasting last week, that strength training exercise that we went through, balanced bites, rest and recovery. As we're going through those experiences, then we are building a structure. And when we reflect, okay, what did I learn from that? That's the goal, to learn and to improve as we move through a successful metabolic space. So at 33 hours, a lot of stuff is happening. And our body is transitioning. It's a handoff period. Body, mind, mood, all of that. Our physiology is talking to us. Clearer focus, less fogginess, connections, calm, peaceful. What's our body saying? What is your body saying to you? And are you listening to it? Your data is your body's diary. It records how well your structure is holding. And at 33 hours, I'm always excited because I know right now, yeah, all that glycogen is about to is leaving, and I'm about to enter the most amazing time in my fast as we go from 33 hours into longer fasts. And don't talk about what the adaptation is that happens in our 56-hour fast. Always excited to be here with you. We'll be back as we talk about fasting further. Stay by with us as we continue this process. And each one of our episodes gives you a little bit more insight into how you can be successful in your fast on a weekly basis. All right, we'll be back. So you have crossed a biological bridge. And now your structure, not your struggle, is honoring the rhythm. The next time we talk, we'll be talking about 56 hours of fasting, the adaptation zone, where the body stops reacting and it starts restoring, where we begin seeing the amazing benefits of autophagy. Structure protects what motivation starts. We keep the rhythm, we keep the structure, we live limitless. We build the rhythm, we build the life, and we live limitlessly. Hey, I'm always excited when I get to hang out with you guys. Let's go ahead and see what's been going on in the. Let's go ahead and see what's going on in our community. Let's see, where were we? Gian says, "Wow, grades." I think this talking to Kenty. Oh, Kenty, let's go back up because I did not see you come in. Okay, here we are. So Gian, yeah, I had asked which week this was for you. So Gian says, "This is my 11th week of 48-hour fast once a week in a row." Come on, y'all. There you go. 11th week. Kenty says, "Steve, all the best. Great job, Gian from Steve." Gian says, "Hi, Kenty. Thank you, Steve." Kenty, 10 hours in, plan to do 10 more. Okay, Kenty, give me a hand clap right here. Awesome. And Steve said he did a 30 hour in the hospital because they would defeat him. Well, not the way we want you to do it, Steve, but we're glad that you are out. Let's see. Jennifer said, "Due to feeling cold, I visited a celiac store and bought an awesome wool sweater." Oh, a Celtic store. It was on sale, thankfully. All right. Steve said, Kenty says, "Hope you had food since you've been home." Steve says, "I feel fair. Yes, I'm trying to get back on onto my fasting schedule." Hey, Steve, come on, man. Let's do it. We can do it. We're there with you. Kenty says, "Good, man. Thank you, Doctor," from Gian, and thank you all. Just excited, man. I love the community. I love the benefits that we're seeing for people who are out there and people who have been following, and just I get messages, and of course in our community we talk about the benefits that everybody's seeing, not just in their health, but we're seeing benefits in their how they respond to life, right? Because that's a big part of what happens as we talk about living limitlessly. It is not just, hey, what's going on with those blood sugars or the weight. Now, that's important, and that's a big part of what we do, but there's so many other benefits that we get as we move through this fasting space. And as you guys know, everything that we do is based on our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcast. We empower with the tools that you learn as you come on and hang out with us, and we encourage with the community that you are part of and that you are growing. Remember, this is Diabetes Awareness Month. There are over 500 million people on the planet with diabetes. In the United States, 38 million. You can be a voice for people that says, hey, we don't have to keep going the way we're going. We can be different. We can be better. We can make changes. We have the power to improve our lives, improve our metabolism. And then for people who are not diabetic, who have other metabolic disease like pre-diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, obesity, metabolic syndrome, all those people, polycystic ovarian syndrome, type 3 diabetes, which they're talking about Alzheimer's disease. The things that we're talking about, the things that we do, the structure that we're putting in place is exactly the thing that begins to help us through that process as well. So just because you're not diabetic doesn't mean that this doesn't apply to you. In fact, this is super important to you to help you stop the progression towards diabetes. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. And when you get those benefits, don't just keep them to yourself, y'all. You got to share it with everybody to let them know that they can make a difference by making different choices. Hey, everybody, we will be back tomorrow for our pop-up live as we do our 48 hours. Join us for that. On tomorrow night, we'll be back for 56 hours as we talk about adaptation, as we move into that space. And then on Friday, we'll do our complete review of fasting, how to prepare for the fast, how to get through the fast, and how to break the fast. And you get to see what I eat for the first time in 72 hours. So come on back and hang out with us. Of course, on Saturday night, 9 p.m., we've got this week, we've got video from the vault. On Sunday morning, This Week in Review at 6 a.m. Central. And then we'll be right back here on Monday as we move through our Blueprint series as we take another episode of that. Let's go ahead and we're going to watch the Move campaign, and then we'll get out of here. Everybody have a great evening. Continue to improve your health. Remember, our goal is long, healthy life. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. We want you to have the success in your health like you're having in all the other areas of your life. We want you to be able to show up for those things that are so important to you, community and family and friends, and those dreams. In order to do that, you've got to be healthy and you've got to be around. You don't need superhuman power. You need a system you can trust. You need a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow. And you need the support and the determination to show up and keep going. All right, everybody, here's that promo, and we'll see you in the next episode. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.